Welcome to Machine Coding Interview. I am Sanjay, and in this course we will discuss the evaluation criteria of hotel management system. So, in the evaluation criteria, we have these seven criteria that we need to pass in our application. So, the first thing is code quality. So, how do you find that our application is following this code quality criteria or not? So, when our application follows the solid principles, drive principle, and other principles and use the design patterns, then we can say that our application is passing the code quality criteria. So in our application, we are using all the solid principles and drive principle. Now let's see how we are passing the solid principle. So in the solid principle, the first principle is single responsibility principle. So you can see in all the directory in all the classes. Okay, so this is the configuration class where we have the configuration related to our application. In the controller directory, we have the booking controller, which has only the booking related methods. So here we are using post booking, then we are using payment for the booking. This we can separate it out and use it in the payment controller. But for now, when your application is small, you can use payment inside booking, because when we are doing the payment for the booking, it will create a separate bill object which will be the part of the booking object. Then we are getting the booking, then we are cancelling the booking, then we are checking out and checking in the booking, then we are getting the bill for the booking, and here we are getting all the bookings related to a customer. In the customer controller, we can see that we are just getting the customer object and registering the customer in our application. In the hotel controller, we are adding a hotel and getting a hotel. In the notification controller, we are getting the notifications by email ID, getting the notifications by SMS. Okay, so for this also you can create two separate method like SMS notification controller and email notification controller, but those things will be good and valid when we have lots of functionality in SMS notification and email notification. For now, since our application is small, we can use in the same controller. Then we have the receptionist controller. Here we have the post mapping for receptionist, where we are registering the receptionist, then we are deleting the receptionist. The next controller is the room controller. So in the room controller, we have the methods related to adding the room, getting the room, deleting the room, then getting all rooms by room type, getting all the rooms in a hotel, then getting all the booked rooms, getting all the available rooms, and getting all the available room for a given date range. So we can see that this all the controllers are following the SRP. In the DTOs, we have just the DTOs, okay, which are responsible for getting data from the client and sending data to the client. So this also follows the SRP, because for one method we are using just one DTO. Okay, so here we can see add hotel request DTO for adding the hotel, add receptionist DTO for adding the receptionist, and so on. In enums, we have all the enums files. In events, everything is related to event only. So which event we are using? We are using booking status update change event. Then in the exceptions directory, we have all the exceptions. Okay, so for the customer related exception, we are using customer not found exception. Here we are using invalid booking exception. Here we are using invalid customer exception. So this we are using for the exceptions. One thing you can do as an improvement, you can create a resource not found exception, and you can just remove all this invalid booking exception, invalid customer exception, invalid hotel exception, and just use that invalid resource exception there. The next is the factories directory, where we are just using the factory. In address factory, we have the address creation method. In the billing factory, we have the billing creation method. In the booking factory, we have the create booking methods. In the customer factory, we have the create customer method. In the hotel factory, we have create hotel method. Notification factory, we have create notification method. In the receptionist factory, we have the create method for receptionist. In the room factory, we have the create room method. So in all the factory method, we are just using the create method that belongs to that object. So this is also following the SRP. In the models, since the model is the class itself, this will always follow the SRP. And in the registry, we are using these two methods, okay, get instance and get strategy. So since this is a strategy registry, this is also following the SRP, which will return us the strategy belong to a particular name, which we get from the application.properties. Then we have the repositories. So all repositories are used for interacting with our database. So here we can see that we have only methods inside a particular repository related to that object. Like for the booking repository, we have the methods find by customer ID. So we are getting all the bookings for the customer ID. We are getting all the bookings from this status, and we are getting all the bookings for a given date range. So they are returning the list of bookings only. So this is also following SRP. And in the customer repository, we don't have anything, so it will use by default all the CRUD repository method provided from the JPA repository. Then we have the hotel repository, then notification repository. We are getting the list of notifications, so this is also following SRP. In the receptionist repository, we don't have anything. Okay, so in the room repository, we are getting the list of rooms for a given room type or for a given availability status. So this is also giving us the rooms, which is following the SRP principle. Now in the services, we have these interfaces, okay, and for all the interfaces, we have their specific implementation. So I think we don't have to go inside the implementation. We can just find out whether the services are following SRP or not by using the interfaces. So if you'll open the booking service, then here you can see that in the booking service, we are using methods only related to bookings. Okay, so first is book room, second is payment bill for that booking, third is get booking, fourth is cancel booking, fifth is checkout, sixth is check-in for the booking, seventh is get booking by the customer, and eighth is send booking reminder. So this send booking reminder we are not using, so you can just delete it. Okay, so all these methods are following SRP because this all methods are specific to the bookings only. In the customer service, we have register customer and get customer. So this belongs to the customer only. In the hotel service, we have the add hotel, get hotel. So this belongs to the hotel only. In the notification service, we have get notification and get email notification and get SMS notification. So this is for notifications purpose only. In the receptionist, we have the add receptionist method and we have the delete receptionist method. So this is also belong to receptionist only. In the room service, we have add room, get rooms by type, get all rooms, get book rooms, get available rooms, delete room, and get available rooms for the dates. So this also follows the SRP because all the methods are related to the rooms only. And then we have the strategy, and in the strategy directory, we have all these 5 methods which belongs to strategy only. Okay, so these 3 concrete classes are the implementation of this bill calculation strategy, which is an abstract class. So here you can see we are only using the calculate bill method, and which has been implemented by all these concrete classes. Okay, so they have only calculate bill method for a bill calculation strategy. So this is also following the SRP. So we can see that in our application, we are using SRP. Now the second principle is open close principle. So when our application follows the open close principle, when our application is ready for the extension and close for the modification. So you can see that we are using the strategy design pattern where we are using bill calculation strategy. So if you want to calculate bill by using some other techniques beyond discounted bill, normal bill and peak season, then we can create a new class. Okay, new class which will be extending bill calculation strategy. So we can say that our application is easily extensible. Okay, but we are not updating this bill calculation strategy interface. Okay, our code is not open for modification, but it is open for the extension only. So the open close principle is also followed by our application. The third is LISCO substitution principle. So since we are using strategy design pattern, and we can say that whenever we are using the calculate bill method for any of this concrete class, we can easily substitute them by the other concrete class. How we can substitute them? Just replace them by using this strategy. Okay, use any of the strategy. That strategy will be taken from the strategy registry. So our application is following the Lisco substitution principle. Now the fourth principle is I, which is interface segregation principle. So we have all these interfaces. So you can see that we have segregated our interfaces very beautifully. So all interfaces have the methods specific to that object only. Okay. So for notification, we have only notification related method. For booking, we have only booking related method. So interfaces are segregated in a very well mannered in our application. So this is also following the interface segregation principle. Now the next principle is dependency inversion principle. Dependency inversion principle also is followed in our application. So how it follows in our application? So our application has controllers. Controllers are dependent on the services, okay, and the services are the interfaces. Interfaces have some methods, and those methods are dependent on the repositories, okay, and the repositories are also the interfaces. So only the controller is not interface, but this is an entry point for our application. So the interface is dependent on other interface, like service layer is dependent on the repository layer, which is also an interface. So we can say that our application is following the dependency inversion principle. One more principle we can follow is DRI principle, which is don't repeat yourself. We should not repeat our code. So for that, we are using the factories design pattern. So here you can see that whenever we want to create any object, we can just call this factory design pattern. So if you are calling the factory design pattern, you don't have to write the statements which we have written inside these factory methods. Okay, so we are also following the factory design pattern here, which itself is following the DRI principle. So now let's see the next criteria. So we are following the code quality by using the design principle. Then we have the proper code structure, because all the classes inside their respective folders, all the controllers are inside the controller directory, all the configurations are inside the config directory, all the DTOs are inside the DTO directory. So we are following the proper code structure. Okay, now our code is readable or not. So how will you find that your code is readable? So for that, you can just understand it like your code should not have too many comments, okay, and your application variable names or method should themselves convey the meaning of why they are getting used. Okay, so in any method, if you open in our application, so they have the meaningful name of any variable or method. Like inside this receptionist service IMPL, add receptionist list. So here we are adding the receptionist list in application. Add receptionist. So we are just adding the receptionist in application. Okay, and delete receptionist. So we are deleting the receptionist from our application. In the room service, you can see we have named all the variable and method name properly, so that we don't need to use comment anywhere in our application. Okay, so our application is also having good readability structure, code reusability. So this has been followed by using our factory methods, and then we are using all the OOPS principles from the solid principle and dry principle. We have all the exception classes, okay, and these exception classes are used for handling the exceptions. Then we have the design patterns, and in the design patterns we are using multiple design patterns like observer design pattern, singleton design pattern, strategy design pattern, and factory design pattern. So this all design patterns we are using in our application. So I think our application is passing all the criteria from this evaluation criteria list. Yeah, that's it from this application. Thank you. See you in the next chapter.